Greetings again. This is John Bernstengel from William George Associates, your Office 365 Project Online and Project Management Consulting company. Today, I want to show you how an Agile Enterprise Project Schedule looks and works in Microsoft Project. Prior to viewing this video, you should see my new Agile Enterprise Project Type video to learn how to create an Agile Enterprise Project in Project Online. Here in the project center of my demo instance, we can see that I have a small portfolio of app development projects that were instantiated using an Agile template. I'm now going to open the Customer Engagement App 1 schedule in Project. This Agile project is a simple example of an in-progress Scrum project. The first step is to click on the schedule icon for App 1. This launches Microsoft Project connected to my demo instance and opens the related schedule in the Project Desktop client. Here we can see that I'm connected to my demo instance. And here we can see the schedule. The first view I want to show you is the Agile Entry view. This one right here. This shows the entire decomposed schedule in the normal project manager's waterfall view. We can note that the design and development phase contains a series of development tasks to build a component of the user interface and also a component of a related interface. We can see that each of these tasks has been assigned an appropriate resource. We can also see that several Agile specific fields are exposed and contain task board and sprint planning values. I'm now going to switch into the Agile views available for these types of projects. These organize the development areas using Agile concepts. You can start by clicking on the Sprints tab and clicking on the Task Board view. This shows our development tasks in a Kanban progress board, including not started, next up, in progress, and done. We see that our development has 5 task cards in the next up column, 2 in progress and 1 done. We can assign the percentage complete to each group. It is easy to drag task cards from group to group as they progress, and percentage complete is updated automatically. It is also easy to add new task cards to our board. Here I add the feature for UI task and put it in the next up column. Note the percentage complete updates automatically. Next, we can move to a more detailed Sprints Planning Board view. This shows our tasks grouped by sprint. Here we see we have 3 tasks in Sprint 1, 2 tasks in Sprint 2, and 2 in Sprint 3. We can manage the number and duration of our sprints from the Manage button. Here we see a list of our current sprints and their configured timing and duration. And below, we see the buttons and fields used for adding new sprints. I can view the progress on each of my sprints from the Sprint button. I click on the current sprint board view to see the progress on Sprint 1. Then I click on Sprint 2 to see how this future sprint stacks up so far. I have some great filtering capabilities as well. For instance, I can easily filter down to show the task board for only the UI Developer 1. And I can add other relevant fields to my task cards. Using this Format tab, Customize Cards button. Here I add the Agile priority field to my task cards. Now we can see this priority shown in the various views. In summary, that was a quick walkthrough of the feature functionality now built into Microsoft Project to enable you to set up and manage your Agile development work. I will now transition to show you some of the out-of-the-box reporting for our Agile work. There are 5 out-of-the-box reports available. These are appropriately found under the Reports tab and the Task Boards drop-down button. There's a Reports tab, Task Boards drop-down button. The Task Boards Task Status report shows us a pie chart of our task board according to the various progress areas. It also contains a list graph of the remaining tasks over time. It contains a graph of the remaining tasks by resource as well. And finally, it contains a table of the remaining tasks, those that are less than 100% complete. Second report is also related to our task board, and it is the work status. This focuses on the work component. Actual work and remaining work are colorized on this particular report. So the first one is a graph of the actual work and remaining work by the various progress areas on our board. The second item is a graph of the actual work and remaining work over time. The third item is a graph of the work by resource. And the final item is a table of the remaining tasks on our task board. The next report, or the next 3 reports I should say, focus on Scrum process. So if you're using a Scrum process, these last 2 reports relate most specifically to you. The first is the current sprint task status. This looks similar to our board task status, except this focuses on the current sprint in our schedule, and it shows us by each of the progress area, the board progress area. how many tasks are in each of those progress areas. The next item is a table of the remaining tasks on our sprint, I should say. The third item here is a graph of the remaining tasks over time. And the final item is a graph of the remaining tasks by resource. Our next report shows us for the current sprint the work status. So looking at the work component, actual work and remaining work colorized on this. First is a graph, bar chart by the various progress areas of the actual work and remaining work. The next is a graph of our actual work and remaining work over time. The third is a graph of the work by resource, or remaining work by resource, I should say. And finally, we have a table of the remaining tasks in our current sprint. And the final report shows us, it's called sprint status, and it shows us across all of our sprints, tasks that are in no sprints, and the number of tasks that are in each of our sprints. Task per sprint, that's this first graph. And then the second is similar, except it focuses on work. So this is a graph of the work per each of our sprints. Actual work and remaining work are colorized. And that is my brief introduction to Agile project scheduling in Project Online and the desktop client. And you will remember that Agile development, scheduling, and reporting has never been easier in Microsoft Project. This is John Bernstengel from William George Associates, here to serve your program management needs using Office 365 Project Online. Thanks for listening, and please contact me to set up a free consultation.